Hey everyone, it's Michelle. In today's video, I will be doing a split face application of Merit Beauty versus my current go-tos in my makeup collection that I find similar to the products. Merit Beauty is a new luxury brand offered on Sephora as well as their own website. They're all about minimal makeup, less is more, just enhancing what you already have. And if you watched my Get Ready With Me spring skincare plus makeup video, you know that that type of makeup look is something that I really like to do, especially on a daily basis, because it's very quick, easy. It just enhances the health of my skin and my features. Before they sent me any products, I actually purchased a couple myself. It was their Clean Lash Mascara and the Tinted Lip Oil in Marrakech. And if you already follow Merit Beauty, you know that with your first purchase on their website, you get a reusable corduroy makeup bag, or you could just use it as a mini tote when you're going out. So I purchased those before Merit actually sent me products to try out and feature on my YouTube channel. So I do have everything in their makeup collection, and it really caters to what I personally like in my everyday makeup routine, and that's kind of how they advertise it as well. So in the card that they gave me, it says, Merit was created to reimagine luxury beauty by making it well-edited, holistic, and accessible. We're focused on responsible luxury, creating products that are safe for body, skin, and planet, essentials that have earned a place on your vanity. We believe that less is more. I'll take a picture of the card so you could pause the screen and read it in full, but basically it's saying how the market right now for beauty products is super saturated, especially with like palettes. How many eyeshadow palettes do we really need? I know I decluttered a couple and had to throw some old ones out myself. This line is basically bandwagoning off our state of the world where we've been at home a lot more. We've come to accept the minimal approach to beauty where less is more, minimal makeup, take 5 minutes to do your makeup for a Zoom call, stuff like that. Since Merit Beauty caters to my personal makeup aesthetic, I thought it would be helpful to do a split face comparing their products versus my go-tos in my collection, which I have curated over the past few months to get the look that Merit Beauty just offers in one go. So having said that, let's get right into this video. And we're gonna start off with the eye area, so I'm going to zoom you in so you could see the products up close. All right, we are nice and personal, so we're starting off with brows. If you've watched my videos already, you know my go-to is the Glossier Boy Brow and the color brown. And for their Brow 1980 Volumizing Pomade, I picked up the shade brown as well. Okay, so starting off with Glossier Boy Brow, as you can see, it's a very itty bitty wand. I do wipe off the excess because the formula is quite wet. Start at the arch and brush. And as you can see, it brushes through my brows, obviously, and it adds a bit of pigment. The color is an ashy brown, but you could still see the brown in it. And I find this to be the best color so far that I've come across with brow gels. And it helps to fade in my fading microbladed brows a bit more. So this is what the Glossier Boy Brow in the shade brown looks like. And on this side, I will be going in to the Merit Beauty Brow 1980 Volumizing Pomade. The brush is a lot bigger and the bristles are not as compact as the Glossier one. And I find with this one, the formula is drier and I don't find a need to have to wipe off the excess. It's pretty comfortable to go in with it right away. And what I like about this one is that I do find it gives the illusion of bushier brows, while also kind of filling in the sparse areas of my microbladed brows. The one thing I don't like about this brow pomade, however, is that the color is ashy. It looks more gray than an ash brown. So color-wise, I definitely like the Glossier Boy Brow, but performance, I think I prefer the Merit Beauty side. So this is what my brows look like filled in. Again, this is the side with the Glossier Boy Brow in the shade brown, Merit Beauty Brow 1980 Volumizing Pomade. When I look in the mirror and evaluate my brows and compare, I do like both of them, but there is something about the Merit Beauty one that just makes my brows, again, look more filled. I just wish you could see more brown in the color, but definitely not the end of the world. I could still work with it. Now moving on to mascara, for this side, I will be going in with the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara. This is a tubing mascara. So for everyday makeup, it's just a really nice go-to because it's so easy to remove it. If you don't know already, I mention this all the time when I talk about skincare around my eye area. My eyes are super sensitive. I need to go in with a separate eye makeup remover. I cannot use a cleansing oil or a regular cleanser around my eyes. So when it comes to everyday makeup, a tubing mascara is super handy because you just need to use water to remove it. And I find the Glossier one pretty easy to remove. So here are the bristles, pretty tiny, and it kind of tapers at the top. I go right to the base and wiggle. And this formula is a little bit dry right now, so I am going to go in with a couple of layers just to match the same effect as the Merit Beauty Mascara. That is what the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara looks like. Now moving on to the other side with the Merit Beauty Clean Lash Mascara. The way they describe this on the website is that it's easy to remove with water and a gentle cleanser. So under that description, I assumed that this was a tubing mascara, and that's the wand. So that's why I wanted to compare the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara, because I thought this was a tubing mascara. And the reason I say I thought is because this is rather difficult to remove with just water, and you definitely need to go in with a makeup remover or a cleansing oil. And it's weird because I see the tubes when it starts kind of like flaking a little bit, but it's so hard to remove, and I end up needing a separate eye makeup remover to get it off my lashes. So I'm a little bit confused about that. But in terms of just performance right now of the mascara, this is just one coat, and I find it gives like a really nice lengthening effect. It also tight lines, whereas the Glossier one doesn't really do that. I find with this wand, it's really good at going to the base without poking your eyes too much and creating a tight line effect. So this is the second layer. This is the Merit Beauty Clean Lash Mascara versus the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara. I find overall both mascaras have a similar effect, but again, keep in mind that the Glossier one, it is a bit of an older formula that I have. I also find that the Merit Beauty one, it does give a more full appearance because of that tight line effect. So I do like both mascaras. I particularly like the Merit Beauty one more because of that tight lining effect. But again, this is rather difficult to remove, and for my everyday go-to makeup look, I really like having a mascara that's fairly easy to remove, and I don't need to rely on an eye makeup remover all the time. My current go-to non-tubing mascara is the Heroin Make one. That's been my go-to for years, and I always buy it and stock up on it when I get a chance. So maybe if I ever run out of that mascara, I would be happy to pick up the Merit Beauty one, but it's not what I was looking for in my everyday makeup routine. If your eyes are not as sensitive as mine, this may not be an issue at all. But for me, I was expecting this mascara to remove a bit more easily, like the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara. Eye area is done. Now we're going to move on to complexion. I'm just going to apply the foundations in the center of my face. So the Merit Beauty one, it is their Minimalist Perfecting Complexion Stick. So I'm going to be applying that to this side. The other side, I will be using the Westman Atelier Vital Skin Foundation Stick in the shade Atelier 4. I find even online with other YouTubers, these two are often compared to one another the most. And I could definitely see why, because they are stick foundations that offer light to medium coverage and have a really nice skin-like effect. I'm going to start off with my go-to. So that is what Atelier 4 looks like. And I'm going to be applying it with my Sephora Pro Airbrush Detail number 57 brush. So what I like to do usually is just apply it right into the bullet, and then I just whisk it on my face. Just getting a little bit more on the brush for my chin area. I was surprised to find that this color, Atelier 4, works with my skin tone so well. It is described as a medium with warm peach undertones, and I feel like because it's the warmer weather in general, I could get away with this color more. But as you can see, I applied such a light amount to the center of my face, and it already canceled out some of the redness that I had. And the reason I like the Westman Atelier one is that despite the price point, a little goes such a long way. It works with my complexion really well, and it just has a very nice natural finish. It's not super glowy, it's not super matte. I can apply it lightly very easily, and if I need to build up the coverage, I can. With the Merit Minimalist Perfecting Complexion stick, I was expecting to get something similar. So having said that, let's apply it. I'm going to be using the same brush. I just spray it with this brush cleaner rapid dry formula just to quickly clean off the brush and remove it from any product from that Westman Atelier foundation so I could go into the Merit Beauty one. So with this one, it's more of a stubby look. This is the shade Bisque, which is described as a medium with neutral undertones. So actually, before I apply it on my face, I'll swatch on my hand. Maybe I should have done that before applying the Westman Atelier one, but that's okay. You could just see what they look like right now. So this is the Merit stick in the shade Bisque, and that is Westman Atelier in the shade 4. So you could definitely see more of a warm peachy color in the Westman Atelier one compared to the Merit one, which is a really nice neutral color. So again, I'm just going to apply the brush to the tip like this to get some product, and then I will whisk on my face. I find the texture of this one just to be a smidge creamier than the Westman Atelier one, but overall the way the finish is the same, not too glowy, not too matte, just blends in with my skin really nicely and removes that redness on my face. So this is what it looks like up close. Looking in my compact here, although it is subtle, I do see the neutralness on this side compared to this side. And since I have a breakout here, I'll just show you what it looks like to apply the foundation straight on, just to see how well the coverage builds up. And I have applied both foundations to my entire face before, and it definitely does look nice and natural. I was able to build it up to a rather medium coverage, but the reason I'm not doing it in this video is because I don't like wearing a full face of foundation anymore. I really like to just correct the unevenness in my skin and keep it as light as possible. And I also find my skin is really happy with that in return. So I just stick with that. That is what a bit more coverage around the pimple looks like. It's not 100% full coverage, but it definitely helped to cancel out the redness. I'm just going to apply a bit more and just pat around. So as you can see with this pimple I have here, you can get a more fuller coverage with the Merit Beauty Minimalist Perfecting Complexion Stick. I find the same thing to be the case with the Westman Atelier one. Comparing the two right now, they perform very similarly. It's just the undertone of the foundation sticks that looks slightly different. Otherwise, they're both foundation sticks with light to medium buildable coverage. The one major thing I want to draw attention to is the amount. So for the Westman Atelier one, it comes in 0.31 ounces and it costs 88 Canadian dollars. Whereas the Merit Beauty one, it is 0.13 ounces for 49 Canadian dollars. So if you were to buy two of these, it's more expensive and it doesn't match up to the same amount as the Westman Atelier one. So for me personally, that is quite the factor in my purchases. So I would personally rather use the Westman Atelier one. I also really like the slight warm peachy undertone this gives. This one just looks a little bit too neutral, and it could be because of this time of year where everything's a lot warmer, so I tend to gravitate towards warmer looks. So maybe in the winter time when I look a little bit paler, this would be my preferred color. But for overall purchase with the quantity, I like the Westman Atelier one better. However, another thing to consider is definitely the packaging. The Merit Beauty one is a lot sleeker, so it's more on the go, travel friendly, whereas the Westman Atelier one, it is heavier actually and thicker with the components. So if packaging is also a factor into your purchase, that's something to consider. But again, when it comes to the amount and price point, I prefer the Westman Atelier one. Another thing that actually happened with the Merit Beauty one is that it snapped off. I think I pressed too hard on the bullet and it just fell into the unfortunate corner near my vanity where it was a little bit dusty, so I had to give it a really good wiping and disinfecting before applying it back into the component. So that was another thing that happened. I mean, if you're a bit more careful than I am, it won't be a big deal, but still. Whereas with the Westman Atelier one, even when I roll the foundation out, I did not experience that breakage. Alrighty, now moving on to highlights. So with the Merit Beauty Highlighting Balm, I have the shade Bounce, which is the pinker color. The first thing I thought of to compare it to was the Violette FR Baume Shine. And as you can see, it is also pink in the component, maybe a little bit warmer than the Merit Beauty one. And the reason I wanted to compare these two, it's not just like the color out of the component itself, but when you apply it, they both have the same wet-like effect with a subtle hint of pink. I know the Violette FR Balm Shine, it was described to have mirror pigments, and for the most part, it's supposed to be colorless. It relies on the natural light depending where you are. Whereas with the Merit Beauty one, it does have a little bit of that pink pigment in it. But on my hand, they look so similar. If anything, once you see on application, I do notice the Violette FR Balm Shine is a bit more reflective. The Merit Beauty one, you will notice, is a bit softer on the cheeks, but both give a wet-like skin effect. So enough talk, I'm going to be applying it. So starting off with Balm Shine. So this is what my cheek looks like right now. Going to apply it on the high points here, in the inner corner, up here, and Cupid's bow. And one of the major pros about this is because of how tiny it is, so it just kind of fits in these areas really nicely. And I'm just going to use my ring finger to blend it out. And as you can see from this quick blend, it really reflects the light and it looks like a natural highlight. And I really like how this is in a base of squalane, so around my orbital bone area here in particular, it just adds a little bit more moisture to the skin because this area can look a little bit dehydrated. And I barely see any color anymore now that it's blended out. It doesn't look as pink as it was on my hand. It just looked like it meshed with my skin really well. All right, now applying the Merit Highlighted Balm in the shade Bounce. So same thing, I'm just gonna apply that, apply in their corner. And obviously, as you can see, it's a bit thicker than the Violette FR one and bigger as well. The Violette FR makeup, it's supposed to be very on-the-go friendly. You can put it in your little tote like she shows off in her videos. So that's why it's smaller in size. Now I'm gonna blend it out the same way. And what I noticed is after blending the Merit Beauty one out, it has a really nice natural wet look, very similar to the Violette FR Baume Shine. I do see a slight bit of color still, but it's not super pigmented. And I do find the glow a little bit more subtle than the Violette FR ones. So this is Merit Beauty. And switching over to Violette FR. I don't know if you can tell the difference in the camera, but both give, again, that really nice wet look. There's something about the Violette FR one, though, that is a bit more reflective. Again, she describes it having mirror pigments in the formula, not so much color. It's also in a base of squalane, so the shine from the oil itself may be a factor in this, but I still like the effect that the Merit Beauty one gives. From what I can tell, the Merit Beauty one is a little bit more subtle with the shine, but in terms of color, I can't really tell a difference. You need to look really up close to see some of the pigment in the Merit Beauty one, but I think you're fine with either or. For me personally, I do prefer the Violette FR Baume Shine because it is in that base of squalane. I really like that additional moisture it gives to my eye area in particular. So that's why I would rather go for this one than the Merit Beauty Highlighting Balm. But still, it gives the same effect. It gives this beautiful wet look on the skin. It is not super glittery. and it is not super pigmented either. Moving on to my favorite part of any makeup look, it is the cheeks, applying blush. I like making the blush the statement and just keeping my eyes nice and simple. So for blush, I chose a color outside of my comfort zone. It is in the shade Mood, which is this burgundy wine type of color. I don't own any color like this in my collection. It's, again, not something that I usually grab, but I do have one shade that is somewhat comparable. Maybe the undertone's a little bit different, but still it kind of reminds me of a more fall type color, and that is Phytosurgence in the shade Swelter. So out of the package, the Phytosurgence one is a nice pink cranberry color in the mid-tone, whereas the Merit Beauty cheek color in Mood looks a little bit darker, a little bit more intimidating. But as you'll see when I blend these out on my face, they look rather similar. I'm going to start off with the Phytosurgence one, again on my go-to collection side of my face. I'll be using the Sephora Pro Diffuser number 64 brush, which has been my go-to cream blush brush since 2018. So I'm just applying a dot on my face to start, because with the Phytosurgence formula, it's a little goes a long way. So you always want to start with a light amount with this formula and blend, and then you build up as you go. So as you can see, that was a super easy blend, and it's such a pretty cranberry shade. I'm going to apply just a little bit more so we can really see the color difference between the two. I've been obsessed with these Phytosurgence blushes. I own all of them except for their current charity shade right now on their website, which is a very orange color. I have been debating whether or not I want to pick that up for the summer season's out, because some of the other colors I purchased that I wasn't 100% sure it would work for me works really well, so I have confidence in that orangey shade. But anyways, back to Swelter. Again, beautiful cranberry mid-tone type of color. Now for the other side, we're going to be applying Mood cheek color, and I will be using the Merit Beauty number 1 brush. You can also use this for the complexion stick as well, but given the amount of the complexion stick I apply to my face, the smaller brush was more appropriate. Otherwise, if you were using that as a full face for your foundation, then this brush is really good because it blends nicely. So for this, unlike Phytosurgence, you can use a heavy hand of it, like that, and taking this brush, you just blend, blend, blend. And right away it blends out pretty thinly. And look, it's like a similar effect already. So if you're someone that likes using a heavier hand with your makeup application, this blush is definitely super forgiving. You won't be having to recover your makeup because of how easy it blends and shears out on your skin. So Merit Beauty's Mood versus Phytosurgence Swelter. And as you can see, with different application techniques, I got the same result. Both sides kind of just mesh with my current base, which is rather moisturized. That's how I like to have my skin. That's why my forehead's rather shiny right now. I also don't have the air conditioning on right now, so it's rather hot. But comparing the colors, you could see they're both like a mid-tone pink, but there is something about the Mood color that leans just a little bit purple, maybe even a bit brown, whereas the Phytosurgence Swelter, it's more in the red-pink family. But I did find wearing both of them side by side before, as the day progressed, they looked rather similar, so I don't know. Maybe it's initial application with the type of mood you're going for with your makeup look. But I don't have a color like Mood in my makeup collection, or at least one that I'm not aware of. Maybe the shade Fervor in Phytosurgence is more comparable with this one, but I thought Swelter would be more appropriate for this comparison. But yeah, definitely like the formula of Merit's cheek color. I do kind of like how I don't need to be as attentive with the blush. I could just apply this pretty freely on my cheeks and still get a really nice sheer blend out of it. But having said that, you may go through the product a lot faster, whereas with the Phytosurgence one, because it is a little goes a long way, this may last you longer. And frankly, with the Merit Beauty cheek color, I was expecting it to add a bit of emollients onto the skin. Not a crazy amount, but just add something extra. But I do find the finish on both sides are very similar. Again, it kind of just melts into what my skin base currently is. That's not a bad thing by any means. It's not drying out my skin, but I was expecting just a little bit more moisture to come from this one. Overall, for performance wise, they offer the exact same result. It's just a different application method for each, so it comes down to your preference that way. Again, I do feel like maybe the shade Fervor would have been a better comparison with Mood, because Fervor, from what I remember swatching, it does definitely have more purple in it. So I wonder if that is the better comparison with the shade Mood, but I really thought of Swelter at the time, so that's what I went with. Price-wise, Phytosurgence is 21 Canadian dollars, whereas the Merit Beauty Cheek Color is $36. So not only is the Phytosurgence one more cost-effective, but a little goes a long way with application, whereas with the Merit Beauty one, you do need to have quite a bit of a heavy application for it to get the same color payout. But overall, it comes down to your personal preference. If you definitely prefer a heavier hand and you don't want to be super attentive, you may like the cheek color from Merit Beauty more than being a little bit more attentive with the Phytosurgence one. But I'm so used to applying a little amount and building up color. So for me personally, I prefer the Phytosurgence Skin Spark Blush Balms. Also, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to the blush because Phytosurgence is an indie Canadian brand. I like supporting really good Canadian brands whenever I can. So when it comes down to the blush in particular, definitely Phytosurgence over Merit Beauty. All right, last but not least, we are on to lips, and I actually have nothing to compare the Merit Beauty products to. So that is their tinted lip oil. I purchased the shade Marrakech, but to match the Mood blush, I requested the shade Sangria, and as you can see, this is also a really nice burgundy wine-like color. Marrakech, however, it's more my lips but better type of color. And I will swatch both of them just so you can see what they look like on my skin. So starting with Marrakech, the lighter color, compared to my lip, which doesn't have a lot of pigment in the first place. Again, it's just a nice my lips but better color. And one thing I really like about this formula is that it moisturizes my lips. I don't need to prep my lips beforehand with a lip balm. If your lips are feeling rather crusty and dry, you could just go in with this right away and it'll make your lips feel comfortable while providing a nice color. All right, so that is Marrakech. Now I'm going to be applying Sangria, which matches the Mood blush better. So again, applying on the bottom lip. So the tinted lip oil compared to my upper lip without product. In other videos, I've seen YouTubers apply this color. It doesn't look as burgundy. It actually looks like there's a bit more red in it. So yeah, I just find this looks rather different on my lips. But it goes with the blush pretty well. And that is Sangria. Personally, when it comes to this type of formula, which is really moist, it's rather slippy, moves around really easily, I like going for colors that again creates that my lips but better. It's more closer to my lip color. While the Sangria one does look pretty and it does look natural, because it is darker than my natural lip color, I'm not as comfortable wearing a darker color in this formula. Usually I like something that sets a bit more on my lips. And if you haven't noticed, this removes really easily. There's no tint to be found on the lips. I know I need to wear it for a while and give it a bit of time, but I have tried wearing both of these for long periods of time, wondering if they will create a stain on my lips, and they do not. They remove very easily, whether you drink something, you eat something, or you're just wiping your lips. These will come off very easily. For me, that is a little bit of a downside with the formula. The lack of staining aside, I do overlook it because I really like how comfortable this is to wear, and the fact that I don't need to prep my lips beforehand. I don't need to keep something on me throughout the day. I could just rely on this to moisturize my lips if they're feeling a bit dry. Also, for a less is more minimal makeup type of look that is quick and easy, I would rather just reach for a color that is similar to my lip color if they were a bit more pigmented. So in that case, the Marrakech shade is really nice for me. All right, so that is it for all the Merit Beauty products. But before we end off this comparison, I do want to apply the blushes on my lips. And the reason I saved them for last is because they don't remove as easily as the lip oils. So again, on this side, I'm going to go in with Swelter from Phytosurgence and apply it right on my lip. Okay, so that is Swelter on one side. Now on the other, I will be applying the Merit Beauty Cheek Color Mood. The Phytosurgence one does feel like it sets a bit more on my lips. It is a smidge drying, so for this one you definitely need to go in with a lip balm beforehand. Whereas with the Mood color, it is again quite balmy, so it does add a little bit of moisture to my lips. Not so much as the Tinted lip oil, but it's still there. I would still probably prep my lips beforehand if I were to use this as a lip color as well. I do find the cheek color to be movable as well, not as slippy as the tinted lip oils, but it definitely has some slip to it when I rub my lips together. Whereas with the Phytosurgence side, I find it sets better on the lips, therefore being a bit longer lasting. All right, and that is it for the makeup application. So once again, this is the side featuring all my current go-tos in my makeup collection versus a full side of Merit Beauty. Even though I already curated a makeup collection which caters to my makeup aesthetic, I do like how Merit Beauty just provides everything you need for it in one go to really provide that minimal makeup look while enhancing what you naturally have. And out of all the makeup collections out there right now, that's a really refreshing thing to see, just advocating to embrace what you naturally have and not relying on such a heavy amount of makeup to feel really good. Alright, and that is it for this video. As always, I hope you find content like this helpful and informative. If you did, please be sure to give the video a like, subscribe to my channel down below for future videos, leave a comment if you have any questions or recommendations, and I will see you all soon. Ciao.